Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. This is a special review that I'm doing from my good friend Kristina Gallo. This is my first actual book review. This one is called The Random Patient. Hee hee!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Monty G. Now, horror fans, let me ask you a certain question. If you were given the opportunity to have the worst memories in your life erased from your mind, would you take that chance? Now, that is the basic premise of Croatian author Kristina Gallo's latest novelette, a psychological thriller that she calls The Random Patient. Now, in this story, we have a pharmaceutical company called Sophie Klein, I believe I pronounced that right, who claims to have created a new drug called EraseMed, which is designed to erase bad memories in a patient's brain, leaving only the good memories for that patient to enjoy. Very interesting. Throughout the story, Christina has a bunch of characters who are involved directly or indirectly regarding EraserMed and the effects that it causes. Now we have Travis Sanders. He's a life coach who seems to be more of a spokesperson recruiter as he pushes this drug to the public despite it still being in the clinical phases, which is something that you really don't do when you're in the clinical phase of a drug trial. Now, we also have Rebecca and her friends Lisa and Kate who decided to take a vacation to Croatia while Rebecca is dealing with her issues with her ex boyfriends. And Rebecca encounters Travis, and while Lisa is trying best to avoid her ex boyfriend, Sean, who seems to be stalking her and her friends. Hmm, not a good situation. And then we have Greg, a newly hired researcher at Sophie Klein, who only got the job due to his fiance's father's influence, realizes that there's something shady going on with this new drug, but his boss, Sabrina, shuts him down every time when he has a question. Now, despite the back and forth Christina has with all these characters, because we jump from one character to another, then back to the other character, another, she does a nice job bringing all the pieces together, which lead to some very interesting results as when the book gets to its conclusion. I mean, let's face it, if there was a drug that would remove all the bad memories, I'm sure most people would not only take it, but eventually abuse it as we've seen this play out here in this novel. I mean, take a look back in the day when Viagra first came out and all the older men were just going crazy with the effects, not understanding any type of side effect that that drug had. And eventually we come to find out that unfortunately guys with bad hearts or any heart problems should not be taking Viagra. But unfortunately, we see what that happens when you have a drug like that in real life, and you see the same effects happening here in this novel that Christina has. That's because she does a good job showing that despite what some characters in the story believe what they're doing is the right thing, it's all for the wrong reasons. I won't reveal what happens, but there are some situations that take place in the novel where they decide to get the people to take this drug because they wanted to remove the bad memories, thinking that they're going to forget it. But unfortunately, it's always going to be side effects, and that's what happens is the side effects make the whole situation worse, which also leads to some interesting results at the end of the novel. It also shows the dangers and desperation pharmaceutical companies will go through to push an untested drug when they should have had protocols in place to see the side effects of taking Racemid are devastating. I mean, we do get some crazy stuff that happens in here, especially in the beginning of the book and at the end of the book. I mean, that's the reason why in real life you have to have protocols set in place in order to prevent anything crazy from happening. No, I recommend, definitely commend Christina and how she writes the novel. It's very characteristic, very attention to details about what's going on in each of the scenes. How she introduces all the characters, from Travis to Rebecca, her friends, Sean. Does a good job in intermingling. We get to see some great characteristics from the characters. Each one has their own motivations and their own characters, and I thought she did a good job in how she presents. Because there's a lot of characters here, there's a lot of stuff going on, but she does a good job in exploring all the characters in the novel. So I was quite impressed in reading one of Christina's novels for the first time, and I did enjoy her writing style. I'm looking forward to seeing her other novels as well. So I really do recommend you read The Random Patient. And just like I do with my movie reviews, I'm going to give The Random Patient 3 out of the Miser's 5 bloody gold coins. Like I said, I really did enjoy the novel. I thought it was a very good psychological thriller. A lot of crazy things happening, a lot of crazy stuff happening. Again, like I said before, when you have a drug like this, even though this is a fictional drug, I compare this to what happened when Viagra first came out. You're going to have people are going to abuse it and not worry about the consequences that were happening. And the same thing happens here. You know the consequence is going to happen because they did was an untested drug, and we see what happens when we see what happens as the end of the novel is concerned. So I really do hope you guys have a chance to read The Random Patient. I believe it's now available on Amazon and Kindle. And so there you have it, horror fans. That is my review of The Random Patient. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way, you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Money G, and always remember, horror rules. And I see you in my next video. I gotta stay safe out there.